Talk to us about what made you decide to go on this super fun show.
I think that if anyone was in my position in August, what it was like, not August, like October probably of last year, um, I don't know anybody who would say no. But personally, we've just gone through so much as everyone else, and then again, personally, it felt like um, for the first time, I'm just not giving it a thought. Usually I overthink things and I maybe overanalyze some stuff. And so when this came in and it was like very random, oh hey, why don't you do this? I was like, give me a second. And I remember I Googled Mass Singer because there's nothing to kind of like um, bounce that off of. So Mass Singer was not something I watched, it's something I knew of, obviously, and I knew the show. I didn't really know the nuances in the format. The first thing that I saw was Seal, Seal's elimination or something like that. And I was like, well, if Seal does it, of course, who am I? But I was already committed to doing it in my head. I just wanted kind of like the assurance that it is as fun as they say it is. And what I saw is that every time somebody would take their mask off and would be a big name, in the singing world, it was same reaction, like how much fun it was and how amazing this experience was. So I was like, I'm in. Um, I wanted to, I don't know how this sounds. I'm not trying to be all sappy or whatever the word is, but I do have a 4-year-old that hasn't really seen me do stuff. I wish I had him 20 years ago because he would have had this entire like look at memorable Papa's career. But um, I wanted him to kind of witness some things still, and so this was one of those projects. It's like, hey, I'm going to be a big stuffy animal looking thing. I'm pretty sure that we get to watch it with Shai and experience it together. So that was a big part of it. Obviously, the fact that pandemic took away a lot. Um, the process has changed. The you know the road that I was on is different, and I made a great decision. I gotta say, an amazing decision to just not even think about it and say yes and keep it moving.
Well, that is amazing. And we had so much fun watching you. How did you decide on the sloth as your character? Tell us about that.
So the way I was approached about the show was very random. I kind of like didn't really have this in my head. It was just like a conversation about something else, and in that conversation, it came up. Hey, why don't you do this show? And I said, sure. And when I did my, kind of like the research, when I had that moment watching Seal, for me, I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan. And so I was like, okay, so right there, it's not this. It's not like, go and embarrass yourself. This is definitely my forte. This is what I would be able to do well, right? So clearly it's that kind of show. But I had, so when I came back and I said, I'm in, but I said under one condition to all the producers and, production stuff. Um, they're like, what is the condition? I said, I want no responsibility for myself. I want to walk in and I want to be choreographed. I want to be told what to do. I want to be told where to stand. And I just want to do that. I want to do that right, right. And then on top of it, once, this is clear and understood, obviously dance is something that I'll, do make mine, but I just don't want to be told, hey, you're a dancer, professional at that. So why don't we just give you this, like this song, go choreograph yourself, right? I didn't want to have that happen. And it was amazing. I had a great team of people that were, obviously working with other celebrities as well. But I would walk in, I would be given choreography, my freedom to adjust and alter things. And when time came to the costume, it was this kind of Zoom. And I literally, somebody was sharing a screen and this two-dimensional, graphic of Sloth comes up, right? And somebody just drew it up, whatever. And I looked at it and I was like, well, wait a minute. In my head, I'm like, okay, this, yeah, but why, why not an eagle or some kind of a lion or a tiger? So, just like immediately this, I guess, ego started speaking like, wait a minute, why sloth? So my initial reaction was, and then immediately I pulled myself back into like, no, we made a decision that you're not gonna be part of these processes. You're just gonna say yes to things and then make them work. And I was like, let's do it. They're like, well, do you have comment about colors, or do you like the cut? Do you like the whole? I'm like, I'm down for whatever. It's whatever you put on me and give me, I'll make it work. I wanted that sort of experience, not, Max is being difficult because he wants to be a bird and not a sloth. I don't know, something like that. So it was very easy. I was trying to be very easy.
Well, we loved the sloth over here. Did anyone reach out to you guessing that it was you? Did anyone have any idea?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, right the way, basically, right away. Look, I think that I'm happy about that too, because it felt like, well, it feels right now like there's been enough people that have watched me do stuff long enough, and I wasn't really aware that there's so much recognizability in my movement, not just as a dancer, but like as a person, just like me. And so a lot of me things that to me are second nature, people actually notice, and I don't think about these things, like the point, the little thing I do with my body, the things I do with my hand. Like there's certain things that the fan recognized from watching me do that 15 years. Like you see me on the show on Dancing with Stars, you see me stand, you see me between numbers, you've seen me, play around, be funny with the, judges or hosts or whatever. So I wasn't not being me under the mask, so it was interesting and very humbling also to see that a lot of people are recognizing my nuances, even if I'm not dancing. And so, yeah, people started recognizing right away, but it was almost like, come on, no way. Nah, he's not. No, no way. And then the misdirect happened. And, the part of play, part of the show is you working with producers to try to misdirect people and say that may not be him. Why would he be doing that and not this? So I think the ribbon dance helped a lot with the misdirection. I think Bollywood number helped a lot with misdirection. I think Broadway number, there was like I think third routine that I did, was a lot closer to me. But by that point, people were like either super confused or very clear, and it was fun.
How about Val and Jenna? Did they know that you were doing the show?
No, they did not. No, I tried. Not only did I try, well, because I was told, and signed a crazy NDA. So, you give your firstborn if you let anybody know who you are. But no, I just didn't want to put people in a position of like, hey, but don't tell anybody. Number one, and the biggest reason actually is because I just wanted to have that experience where, I walk around and everybody knows that there's the show going on. Obviously, I'm in the world of dance, so masked dancer on the industry level. Also, like every one of my friends know of the show because they hired, great performers, everybody on stage, um, the ladies in the front, the masks, that the partners of the masks, the people in the background, they're all phenomenal dancers, some of the best in the industry. So when the show was being put together, the whole of our dance industry was not contacted, but knew about it. So here I am walking around. 95% of my friends are all from dance world. They all know the show is being filmed or on air, and nobody knows that I'm in it, and I'm in the same company, and we talk about the. I'm like, yeah, but I don't even know. I don't even know what that show is, and to being revealed is a big deal, but it's even bigger deal because of the reactions that I got. It was crazy.
Well, that must have been so fun to see everyone react and finally have it be revealed that you were on it. And you touched on this a little bit earlier that Shai was, able to now see you doing something in the dance world, which is really great. How about Shai? Did he know about you being on the show, and what was his reaction to it?
So Shy and TV he's got a different relationship with TV. The relationship is like the cartoons that we watch with him, and and his personality. I don't know. I haven't raised enough kids to know like this, but what I'm seeing from him is that I introduce him to a cartoon. We have a Papa Shush things that we sit down, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch something new. And I'm a huge cartoon fanatic. Fanatic. If you ask me, my favorite medium is it's cartoons. I watched probably all cartoons ever made. I don't care what language it's on, I'll watch it. And so anything animated is my thing. And we sit down, watch a cartoon. He then watches it 100 times. Like he just wants to watch that thing, and he learns. We realize that he's just learning everyone's words. That he recites everybody's dialogue. So his relationships like this, just turning something on, be like, hey, let's watch this. It's not his thing yet. But it was interesting to turn it on, Mass Dancer, and I guess because of these sort of things that the bird and the zebra and the sloth, like it drew his attention. You lose a 4-year-old while judges are talking, so it's hard to keep his attention then. But I'm excited that he saw me do stuff, that we've been able to sit down with him and see couple last 4 weeks. He watched. He kind of has the memory of the sloth, and taking the hat off. Oh, this is Papa. It was a big deal. So I loved it. It was a big deal.
That is so cute. Were you nervous at all that he would like spill the beans, tell his friends that his dad's on TV?
He's 4. They do not talk about beans yet. they just say stuff. I do have to say that his he goes to pre-K, and there's something to be said about being a public figure and having your kid in sort of in a place like this, because it's not even about the kids, the parents are like googling each other's parents and like, oh, these are dancers and blah blah blah. And so we've already had our share of, maybe we don't want everybody to know who the parents are. So it's one of those. But no, he's a cutie. He's amazing, and he just loves. We have a great relationship, and it's very exciting to have been a sloth and to have him see it. And I think he now starting to understand that mom and dad are actually doing that type of stuff. Like it's sort of what we do, because we don't, especially last year and a half or so. Peter was on Dancing with the Stars. He saw that. He knows that mommy's work is there. We passed by the studios where they film, and he's like, oh, mama works. So I was like, oh, it's papa's work too. But he didn't catch me in that moment when I was Dancing with the Stars. So any of these kind of opportunities that I can get, I will absolutely take, because of that, because he gets to see me do stuff.
That is so sweet. And he just turned 4, right? You mentioned. What is he into these days? Obviously, cartoons, you said.
he he's into, I mean, I guess whatever the 4-year-olds are, we try to keep him, especially this last year, as hard as it was, we try to keep him broad, educated and all that. So we set up, Peter did a phenomenal job at homeschooling, and kind of like really surprised me, in the way she perceived, pursued it, and in the way she got it done, we then having Shai come back to school, we realized that he really did learn a lot of stuff and he continued his education. So, but as a 4-year-old, he's into his dinosaurs, he's into his cars. We have a fish tank that now is bigger than when we started, and so he's fully into that. I got a call one time, that he's hysterical because he wants 2 frogs, and I'm like, that's not what we're trying to do here. But that was our thing. I met him at a pet store, and we spent like an hour and a half, and he kind of like, we talked about everything, and we got the 2 frogs at the end. So now he's got a fish tank of a bunch of stuff. But it's just, I think it's more about how much fun I'm having being a parent, than how much fun he's having being a kid. Because I'm having a blast. I think this is exactly what I was meant to be doing. I want definitely more kids. So the Spira, and we're looking forward to a few more of Shais for sure.
That's so sweet. We love your family and all the adorable Instagrams we see. Last question for you. You mentioned Dancing with the Stars. Is there any chance that we're going to see you back in the ballroom again? Maybe a pro again, maybe a judge? We miss seeing you on our TVs.
Like maybe they'll have Sloth as the mascot, and I'll do that. um, I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think at this point it's no longer like, it's not up to me. Not really ever has been, but I just think that this was the right thing to kind of like move on, and there's something to be said about holding on to something. You know how, like, obviously, especially in the last year, we've all realized, maybe some of us realized more than others, that it's what you put out, kind of like, and then you reap the benefits of that. I believe in that. I'm not. I don't believe, as a Capricorn, with the life that we've had and the upbringing that I had. I believe in work, so I just believe in what you do is what you reap, right? But there's a lot to be said about the positive energy and putting out things in out universe and all that stuff. Um, Not fully into that, but there's something about it. And so I believe that, you know, holding on to the idea that I'm coming back to Dancing with the Stars, that was exactly the reason why I was in that limbo for like 3-4 years, and I think that kind of moving on and, not shutting that door or closing, or like, it's not about doors. I'm just not Dancing with the Stars professional and haven't been in a while. My association to the show is Peter, who's my wife, and Val, who's my brother, and Jenna, who's his wife, and people that I've worked with who are still there. Having said that, you know, would I love to be a judge on Dancing with the Stars? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm not willing to continue waiting the way I have been back then. And I think that when I stopped is when these sort of new things and new opportunities started to come my way. So I'm excited about being me. I'm excited about this new, I guess, version of myself that I'm enjoying. Um, I'm definitely excited about this project that's coming to an end in the way that it is, the way it was shot, the work that it was. I'm just looking forward to more of these kind of experiences. If Dancing with the Stars is in my future, then it's in my future. But it would have to bring the same happiness to me if this is an opportunity as I do to it. And I think that later in our relationship with the show, towards the latest, last couple of whatever seasons that I've done, it wasn't that. It was more of like almost like a chore to have each other, in each other's company. And now, I think that the time has passed and long enough, and whatever happens happens. We'll see what happens.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. We loved seeing you on our TVs again, and it was just awesome.